Hey! Is the noon train on time?
Supposed to be.
Feels like it's time.
Fair enough.
BBN Jack Fruits. What's up, party people? How's everybody doing? I'm hoping everybody's having a beautiful day. We got a couple of things to talk about. I'm going to try to be a little bit more consistent with these shows. We haven't been very consistent with the shows. I've probably only been doing like 1 or 2 shows every like 2 or 3 weeks or whatever the case might be. With that being said, we got a couple of things to talk about today. One of the main things we want to talk about, and we're going to get to, even though I know it kind of headlined, it was the first thing, Indian-Pakistan war. We're all going to talk about that. But I really want to talk about the Rodney L. Hilton situation. I think this is very, very important. And I want to talk about the fake protesters. So first, I just want to lean into this fake protester thing real quick. And then I'm going to get right to the Rodney L. Hilton situation. I want to be clear about something. So apparently, what people have probably have not noticed is that when we're having these protests now all over America, why are there only Caucasian people there? I'm going to explain to you why there's only Caucasian people there. Because Trump has cut off their funding. The whole USAID and all that's been cut off. So I want y'all to pay very close attention. They're still paying people. Why aren't they paying Black and Latino people anymore? Y'all love talking about how Trump is the racist. Y'all love talking about how Republicans are the racists. So I'm only asking one question. Just one. We already know that they're paying people to protest. Why are they not paying black people anymore? Why are they only, what it looks like, paying Caucasian people? Be very mindful of that. Now let's talk about the Rodney L. Hilton situation. This is a very big tragedy. As we all know, very big, terrible thing that happened. For everybody that don't know, I'll explain real quick. Run through this real quick. So, a young man. So, police are in pursuit of a vehicle that has people in it. They stole a car. The police I believe it was a stolen car. In any regard, they're in pursuit of a vehicle. They get to a point where the people that are in the vehicle jump out the vehicle and then they scramble. The police are chasing them. At some point, one of the individuals that they are chasing allegedly branded a firearm. At that point, the police fired. That individual was unalived. That individual is Rodney L. Hilton's son. So what basically happened after this was Rodney L. Hilton, the next day, I believe, went down to the police precinct to see the police footage, right? The cam. He went down there with him and a couple of other family members. So he drove his own car. When he drove there, they saw all the footage. Everybody, the family members and the police included, decided that him driving was not a good idea. He was very distraught, obviously, as any of us would have been. And they decided that him driving, so they convinced him to not drive. And he got a lift to wherever he was going, I'm assuming home, from one of his relatives. At some point, he went back to go get his vehicle. I think they said that his relatives drove him there. He went back to go get his vehicle. When he went back to go get his vehicle, he's driving his vehicle. He left out the parking lot. He's in the car by himself. He left out the parking lot. Then he doubled back into the parking lot and drove through the parking lot the other way. And then, shortly after that, he ended up unaliving a police officer that was doing traffic work. And for everybody that don't know, that's like when you're just standing in the street waving, go this way, stop that way, go that way, stop that way, right? He runs over that police officer. Now, just so we could be clear, that was not the police officer, at least all the information that I currently have. That was not the police officer that was involved in the situation with his son. That was a completely, totally different individual. That individual was unalived. That's what he's on trial for. So I want to say this, and I want to be clear about this, and I don't want there to be no misunderstanding. He is in the wrong. He is 100%, 1,000,000%, whatever percentage you want to put, that means absolute. He is absolutely in the wrong. Now, during his court hearing about the bond, as you already know, one of the things that they bring up is whatever past criminal history that you might have had. He's had a couple of situations, domestic. It is what it is. I take domestic with a grain of salt, kinda. I need more information about the individual before I just believe that the domestic thing is real, whether it's a man or a woman being accused. Now, I'm going to take the domestic situation that they're accusing him of, I think back in like 2010 or something like that, as an absolute. So he has the domestic situation. Is another situation that he also got in trouble with. So like all black men, myself included, we've had run-ins with the law. I don't think any of these things are indicative of the overall character of the individual, just so we can be clear. Because sometimes the police are called on us for things that we did do and we didn't mean to do. And sometimes police are called on us for things that we didn't do. And we still get in trouble. So now with all of that being said, I want to be clear about this. Because this is part of the reasons why our community is so effed up. You have people, black people, that are being unalived. And all of these tragedies are happening to them. But our community is only putting money behind vengeance. Look at the other kid that unalived the other white boy. It's like if you want to get your GoFundMe going, all you got to do is go attack a white person. It's like nobody cares about going to heaven anymore. Nobody cares about doing good by God anymore. We need to change that. Forget about the going to heaven, doing good by God. People, one thing makes the other thing happen. So don't think about going to heaven. Think about doing good by God. Like, don't think about making a shot. Think about having your form. Think about going through your mechanics. Think about doing all the things the right way. The shot may go in, the shot might miss. But if your mechanics are correct, you give your best opportunity for success. And that's the way that we have to think. So don't think about going to heaven. Think about how I could please God. Think God is going to be pleased with you when you give money to somebody just because they're hurting another individual? Or just because they have hurt another individual? You think that's something God will be pleased with? So that's the problem with our community. You have people out there in our community doing great things that can't get anyone in our community to support them. But the minute somebody does something like unalive a white person or unalive a police officer, the first thing that y'all guys want to do is figure out this person's a hero. This mindset needs to be exorcised, like exorcism, from our community. These are not good things. This is not something to be applauded for. Imagine that white dude that heard that he lost his son because somebody was in a place that they weren't supposed to be, and his son went over there and asked him to leave. And because he asked him to leave and then tried to encourage him to leave, his son lost his life because he was doing what the right thing, just so we could be clear. He wasn't doing nothing wrong. And then you go to where the family of that young man is at, and then they want to kick you out and say you don't belong. And they think they're in the right. Like that's not a whole bunch of hypocrisy going on. So that's the problem that we have in our community right now. Everybody is a victim. I want to say this and I want to be clear. I believe this wholeheartedly, that if you're a good man or you're trying, because none of us are good, but we're trying. If you're trying to be a good man, there's just certain people in our community you cannot go by. There's certain people in other communities you can't go by, just so we can be clear. But there's just certain people you have to avoid. Because by you not avoiding them, this hurts your ability to be able to do the things that God loves. So let's look at something real quick. I'm just being honest with you. Like, this is some of the things that I see out here. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand. He didn't even get the police officer that unalived his son. So this is a random police officer that just lost his life because a whole nother police officer was doing, as far as we know right now, his duty. Let's look at NBC. CNN is super fake news, but we might look over there too. It says chaos at hearing for Ohio father accused of fatally striking deputy with car after son was killed by police. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. I was writing something. I forgot to put a space bar. We have to be better. We have to have more. We have to care about people. It's like we don't.
That his client was involved. Back, an Ohio man charged with fatally striking a deputy with his car last week pleaded not guilty in court today. Rodney L is accused of killing the retired sheriff's deputy just one day after Hinton's own son was shot and killed by police from a different department. We saw a dramatic scene in court today after commotion erupted in the courtroom gallery where the hearing was being held. Joining us now, NBC News correspondent Shaquille Brewster in Cincinnati. Shaq, walk us through what we heard and saw in that rowdy courtroom today.
Yes, and Clay, that commotion that you were just playing there really underscores the emotion that's being felt in this case, and that was the crux of the argument that we heard from the defense attorney really for the first time in this proceedings. The defense attorney not disputing that his client was involved.
I want to be clear about something. I want to say this right now. You don't get the right. You don't get the right to be a criminal. And demand that the police allow for you to shoot at them first. I just need for y'all to understand the concept. There's people that believe that the police do not have a right to shoot unless you shoot at them first. That they don't have the right to shoot unless they're returning fire. Now, are there a lot of police shootings that should not happen? Yeah, obviously. But what I would like to see is, and this is going to sound like something nobody don't want to hear, but what I would like to see is allow for people to go to prison and to go to jail for their deeds. The biggest problem in our neighborhood right now, any neighborhood that you live in that has overrun by these rats, These malicious individuals that have no other recourse in life except for to try to make other people's lives more difficult because of their own fundamental misunderstandings of the appropriate way to conduct themselves. A lot of people don't know how to conduct themselves. It was never ingrained in them. It was never put into them. They were never raised to be good people. They were raised to hate the police. They were raised to side with the criminal. They were raised to side with the drug dealer. These what they were raised to do. This is how they were brought up. See, it's one thing to say to your child, that person's a rebel fighting the good fight. It just looks like they're fighting on the side of tyranny. And it's another thing to say, well, they owe us. It's okay to do crimes. I'm not on that side. Because first and foremost, we're supposed to be doing well by God. We're supposed to be doing the things that God wants us to do. We're supposed to be trying to magnify God's name. How can you be magnifying God's name in your child's brain? To your child. Magnifying God, magnifying Christ. To your child. If you're also saying you got to hate the police, not for no particular reason, just because they're the police. So does this mean that if a black person kills a white person, that white person has carte blanche to just go out there and find whatever black person they want to find and get revenge? Because that's literally what this would be. Some person, whether it was on purpose or not, or whether it was delinquent or not, unalives a white kid and unalives a white kid. So their father decides that they're just going to go unalive a black person because to make it even. Y'all would scream racism, wouldn't you? How many black people you think is going to be screaming racism? Top of the mountain. And I think that that's one of the biggest issues, and that's how the Democrats keep us under control. Shit like this. Now, if he was really, really, really standing on business, he'd just say, I'm guilty. I'm just being honest with you. If he was standing on business, he'd be like, I did it. But he's not doing that, is he? He's saying not guilty, reason of insanity. But if he was standing on business, he would have said, I did it. See the difference? I'm going to tell y'all about a story. A black boy doesn't want to go home. And let me see if I can find it first. Let me see if I can find it. I forgot the kid's name. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Stabs. I'm put stabs. I'm gonna say wait. I don't remember if he called himself or if he just waited. I'm gonna say waited for the cops. Watch this part though. Hold on. See, they doing the track meet thing. It wasn't this kid. It was a different kid, much younger. I'm right scared of parents. Let's see if this is helps out. I'm gonna tell you about this story. This is a story that is getting like no coverage. It's getting zero coverage. Okay, I'm gonna put kills in. Here we go. So this happened a while back. I'm hoping I can see I know the kid's face looks. This happens a while back. Let's see. A family is grieving in a Michigan community in shock after a 9-year-old boy was stabbed to death in a playground in his neighborhood this week. The shock felt in Kentwood, just outside the Grand Rapids, is as much over the sudden and senseless loss of Michael Connor, I don't know how to say that last name, as it is over the circumstances of his death. The person accused of stabbing him is a 12-year-old who had met in the playground. Who he had just met in the playground. Connor was playing with 3 other kids Monday when one of the children, for an unknown reason, pulled out a knife and repeatedly stabbed the other kid. A Kentwood police officer said. Police said that the attacker was 12-year-old Jamarion Lawhorn. A motive is unknown. The boy was unacquainted, according to prosecutor Chris Becker. Tuesday murder. I want to get to the part where they say he did it real quick. Watch when I tell you why he did it. Say he stabbed him, picked him up, yada yada. Watch when I tell you why he did it. The boy then calmly, look. Stacey described as calm and collected. So basically, the kid called the police on himself. He described, he calm and collected throughout, and that he had told the 911 dispatcher, "Hi, I just stabbed someone. Please pick me up and come kill me. I want to end myself." So just so we could be clear, this kid not only just killed the other kid for no dang reason, but he also wanted to have his own life taken. He wanted to get the death penalty. And why did he want all of these things? Because he was scared to go home because of how terrible his parents were. He was scared to go home because of how terrible his parents were. He was stuck in a situation and he did not know how to get out of it. I might not have had the mic on right. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I just realized my audio is not connected the right way. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm gonna rewind it so y'all can hear what he says. This is just terrible.
Atlanta 911 operator 7933. What's the address of your emergency?
Southeast of my parents' house. Been shot.
Okay, take a deep breath and tell me what the address is because I can't understand you.
222 Tuskegee Street, Southeast Atlanta.
Okay, 222 Tuskegee Street, Southeast Atlanta?
Mm-hmm.
Is this an apartment complex?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the apartment number?
The building 400 door.
Calm down. Take a breath. You said building 400?
401.
You're building 400, apartment 401?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said your parents have been shot?
Yes.
Okay, stay on the line for a minute. I'm going to transfer to the ambulance, okay? Don't hang up.
Please.
EMS, operator 901, what's the address to the emergency?
Atlanta with the transfer. The address is 222 Tuskegee Street, Southeast, apartment 401.
Okay, hello, caller.
Hello.
Repeat the address one more time for verification.
Huh?
Repeat that address one more time for verification.
222 TV Street, Southeast Atlanta. There you
I'll
are.
be at the Columbia People's Town apartment.
Huh?
Is this going to be at the Columbia People's Town apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
What's your apartment number?
Apartment 400.
You said 4400, is that correct?
No, I said apartment 401.
Okay, what's your phone number in case we get disconnected? Tell me exactly what happened.
So I was asleep. I woke up hearing gunshots, and I woke up with gunshots. My parents were on the floor. I went to my phone and I called the police. And I received help complete from because I don't know how to my parents. Really?
Okay, so both of your parents were shot, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Elena, can we get fire PD? I'm not a watch operator.
7933, they're already started.
Okay, hello?
Shit, I think I pulled up the wrong one. But look at all of these things that's happening. And they're putting their money. And y'all putting all of this money to GoFundMe the murderers. And look at all of this terrible shit that's happening. So I'm just going to tell you the story about the kid real quick because I can't find it. So apparently what happened was this. The kid was so scared to go home. He was so scared of his parents that he killed another kid and wanted the police to kill him. Damn! This happened in 2014, by the way. But this is the type of shit that's going on. This is how our communities are. People think parenting is abusing their children. So they'll just choose a different form of abuse. It might be physical, it might be mental, but they'll just choose a form of abuse. And this is what they think parenting is. Our community don't think parenting is raising our children to be good people. That's the problem. Do you know how it feels to want to help someone? They want you to help them, but they know that you can't because their parents won't agree to it. And I'm not talking about the wacko crazy shit like these LGBTQ people are trying to pull in the schools. I'm just talking about regular normal shit. Trying to instill good manners. Trying to just, you're not supposed to do that, fam. Our kids nowadays believe that no one has authority over them. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I'm going to say a thing. This type of shit don't happen in households with his fathers. Now that kid that ran and got shot, he had a whole father in his household. That father failed him. He was out there stealing cars. And that father failed him. And then after the father failed him, he went on to fail the rest of his freaking family by now going and getting himself incarcerated. So now he can't even take care of his family. There's people that man needed to probably feed, most likely. There's bills that man needed to pay. Now, he can't do any of that. Because first he failed his son, and then he failed himself. And you got all of these people out there acting like he did something that was brave. He didn't do nothing that was brave. They need to throw the book at that man. Lock him up forever. He's not coming out. And I'm going to explain to you why he's not coming out. There's 2 crimes that I could think of off the top of my head that when you commit these crimes on purpose, you're done. One is arson. The other is vehicular homicide. You're done. You want to know why? Because those are crimes that somebody could just go commit. Arson, vehicular homicide. On purpose. When you do these things on purpose, just forget about it. Arson straight 20. Any kind of arson conviction is 20. Off the rip. Mandatory, I believe. Like, that's the minimum, I think. I'm not even 100% sure. We could Google it, right? What's the minimum and maximum for arson? A minimum sentence of 15 to 40 years. Hold on, I'll put this up on the screen. What's the minimum and maximum for arson? The minimum for arson in the first degree is 15 to life. That's the minimum. What's the minimum and maximum for vehicular homicide? So the minimum, you can serve up to 1 year in jail. I'm assuming that's when it's by accident. While the maximum is 25 years in prison. The specific minimum and maximum terms depends on the jurisdiction and the severity of the crime. He did this on purpose. It's not an accident. He wasn't drunk. What state was they in? Was it like Atlanta or something? So let's do Georgia. Three to 15, first degree. If the driver's a habitual violator, 5 to 20. So he's probably going to get about 50. He's going to get the maximum. I promise you. Also, didn't Trump just signed a killing the police order? Did Donald Trump just sign a bill for charges about killing police officers? Did Donald Trump just sign a bill about killing police officers? It wasn't even a bill. It was an executive order. Did Donald Trump just sign an executive order about killing police officers? Yeah, so he just signed a bill about killing police officers. This dude is done. We got to do better, y'all. Do I feel bad that he lost his son? Yeah, I do. But you want to know what I want to add to him losing his son? Imagine if his son wasn't stealing cars. So I'm kind of lucky. I'm really, really lucky. I'm really, really fortunate. Shout out to the Most High. Glory be to God. Jesus is King. I'm really, really fortunate because when I was growing up, so almost all of the people I was able to be around when I was able to be around people that was like in their teens and their early 20s, a lot of them was just straight up street niggas. But they wasn't these fake street niggas, because we had fake street niggas back then too. Don't get it confused. But there was real street people. They were the ones that if they didn't have to be in the street, they weren't. They didn't want to be in the street. And when they got the opportunities to get out of the street, they did. A lot of them was able to get into construction. I have family members who own construction companies and stuff like that. So a lot of them was able to get into construction and other lines of work as soon as they was able to get out of the street. It was never about being in the street. It was never about committing crimes. It was never about that. It was just about we gotta take care of people. And that's what it was always about. Not everyone, obviously, but a lot. And so when you're talking to these type of street dudes, they're giving you certain game. They're trying to protect you. And they're just giving you certain game. I don't get in people's cars unless I know them and I know it's their car and I know them. So let's say I know somebody and they might be on a certain side of the law that I'm not on. I don't need to live. I fucks with you, homie, but I don't need to live. I'm fine. I can walk about 10, 12 miles easy before I really get tired. I'm fine. I'll be okay. I don't get in people's cars unless I know them and unless I have a really clear understanding of what problems they would be in and would not be in and agree with these problems or lack of problems. So I say all that to say this. That boy hopped out of that car and ran. The wild thing about when you're running from the police, if you go into your pockets for anything, it kind of looks like you're bringing out a weapon. They got to think like this. We all play them shoot 'em up video games. Every last one of us. So you know how quickly you got to react in order to not be unalived. I don't think that a police officer needs to get shot at first before they can shoot at you if it looks like you're about to shoot. If it looks like you're going for weapons. Now, with that being said, the kid, I don't know if the kid was going for a weapon. He could have had drugs in his pocket and he was trying to throw them. He could have been doing that. But if he wasn't in that car, none of this would have happened. I work in the Senate in the afternoon. I love doing it because we got to do something. We can't just let our communities go to shit. We have to work harder to get these fake people out. I'm not even talking about criminals, just so we could be clear. But the fake people. The people that even if they had the opportunity to do better, they wouldn't. Because it's not about doing better. It's just about making sure other people aren't doing as good as you. You understand? We need to get them up out of here. They gotta go. There's a reason why certain people just dislike me. I haven't done anything. I'm minding my business. Why does that person dislike me? Because they hear me walking around talking about God. They hear me trying to encourage other people to not do certain things. Now, also, just so we could be clear, if you ever hear me talk about the Most High's name and you don't want to hear it, I won't say it to you again. I'm not that guy. I'm not going to stand here and argue God with you back and forth. I don't really want to do that. If you want to discuss God, then we could discuss the Bible, right? Because, I don't know God, but I know the Bible. God knows me. But I know the Bible is what we read. That's what we can discuss. We can discuss that. But I'm not going to stand nowhere with no one, and you don't want to hear this type of conversation, and me try to force you to hear that type of conversation. That's not even what God wants us to do. There's certain people on this planet who's already going to be doing certain deeds that's going to get them in God's graces. And there's people who they're just not in the book of life. It just is what it is. When you look at it like that, you stop trying to save people that don't want to be saved. Who am I to know what your journey with God is? Maybe you're not supposed to become enlightened for another 8-9 months. What do I know? So why am I trying to force this? God probably has other plans for you. Maybe you're supposed to be doing some kind of buffoonery over there before he calls you home. Who am I to get in the way of that? Jesus was sent for the lost sheep. He wasn't sent for the wolves. I'm going to say that again because I don't think people really hear me. Jesus was sent for the lost sheep. He was not sent for the wolves. He was sent for, remember, Jesus is a Lamb of God. Imagine, and actually the term is he wasn't sent for the goats, but that's a whole nother, wink, that's a whole nother thing. Jesus was sent for the sheep, for the lambs of God. He wasn't sent for goats. But that's a whole nother conversation about a whole nother thing, and we're not having that conversation right now. So I say all that to say this. When you side with a black person because they killed a white person or because they killed a police officer, how can you be on the side of Christ? One of my favorite passages in the Bible is this one. Let's go to Therefore, thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judgeth, for wherein thou judgest another, thou condemneth thyself, for thou that judgest doesn't the same thing. So basically, we're not supposed to, oh shit, I didn't put it in. Part of my language. No. So basically, and I want to be clear about this, we're not supposed to be judging one another. Because we are also committing those same sins. So real quick, so I could, because I know people don't know what I'm saying. Like, yo, I never murdered nobody, so no, I didn't commit that sins. He. Well, yeah, so you don't have a appropriate understanding. The murder wasn't the sin. The murder was the culmination of you allowing for the sin to live in you. Like, the overeating isn't the sin. The overindulging isn't the sin. The overindulging is the culmination of the sin living inside of you. So that same sin that might cause one person to eat too much is the same sin that might cause another person to be involved in drugs. It's going to be the same sin that might cause another person to be involved with alcohol abuse. You get it? Those are just different manifestations of that sin. So, just like hate can cause a person to kill, hate could also cause a person to lie on another individual. Hate could also cause a person to attack another person. You know what I'm saying? That's the culmination of the sin. It's not the actual sin. So when we understand that concept, then you're looking at everything a little bit differently. You're not looking at... Hold on, I'm going to move this thing because I want to move that other thing, and I don't want that other thing to do the thing that it's doing. So hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, I did it right that time. So that's the culmination of the sin. So I will pick one like gluttony, right? That's an overindulgence. It's not just eating too much. It's the overindulgence of anything. If you're a glutton, you overindulge. It's just eating is the easiest way for us to be able to satisfy our optical nerves to be able to understand what that means. So when we think about gluttony, visually, we think about somebody who is eating too much. But gluttony can also be inside of any type of abuse of drugs, alcohol, or anything that you're doing too often and too frequently. That's also gluttonous. So while people are going to say that police officer was wrong for whatever random reason, he shouldn't have killed the kid, whatever, I'm going to say, I don't know. I wasn't in that police officer's shoes. I don't have the slightest idea what happened. But I doubt in that moment that police officer was thinking about hate. I'm pretty sure in that moment that police officer was thinking about survival. I feel bad for the young boy losing his life. I feel bad for the family, everything that they got to go through. Do not get this confused. But this is why we have to be better stewards of the children in our company. One of the main things that I always thought was dope is when you do family activities together. Always thought that was dope. One of the main things I loved about Kendra so much is she had already previously had been married. And so when I started dating her, there was just things that I just wasn't really accustomed to. I might have seen other people doing it, but it was just something I wasn't accustomed to. And one of the things that I wasn't accustomed to was just doing family stuff once or twice a week. I just wasn't accustomed to it. I love it, by the way, but I wasn't accustomed to it. And this was my introduction to that. You know, my family, we don't do stuff together. Maybe once a year, twice a year, maybe. And that's only because we're invited to a function. It's never something that we're doing because we want to spend time with each other. We're not that type. We were never that type of family. Like, never. You understand what I'm saying? It was never. I remember once, part of me, we went to, anybody remember A Decade of Robble? He was a pitcher for he was actually a pitcher over in Japan first. And then he comes over and he gets signed by the Yankees. And I used to have the ticket stub. I wish I still did. I wish I kept it. I wish I laminated the bitch because it's probably worth so much money right now. But me and my father, his first game pitching at Yankee Stadium, we used to live across the street from Yankees, up the block, 165th and the Grand Concourse building. Name is 1020 Executive Towers. We used to live in that building. So Yankee Stadium's on 161st and River Avenue. Is a couple of blocks down and over. So the reason why I remember this so much and why this is probably one of my most cherished memories with my family is because that's literally like the only event that I can think of through the entirety of my life that me and my brothers all went to. My brothers by my father and my mother all just went to. And it wasn't, and we went because we went. Families need more of that. Families need more of we like each other and we're going to go spend time with one another. And less of we just got to do this because we're here. Let's get it over with. I don't talk to them or nothing, but that's still a special day to me because I can't think of no other day ever that we ever did anything together. That's the only day ever. We never, and when this happened, I was probably like 22, 23 years old or whatever the case might be. I forget, but that's the only time we ever did anything together. We need more of that. If I had a family, that's what I'm going to be doing. We're going to go find things to spend time with each other so we can make memories. We need more of that, and good memories. The type of memories that's going to encourage the kids to do something positive with their life, to want to have a family. We don't have kids that want to have a family in our communities no more. We got kids that want to have baby mamas and baby daddies and want to have a couple of kids, yeah, but that's not having a family. We need more of that. I'm in church the other day and Coach Knight says, because he teaches the adult Sunday school, and he's talking about right now we're in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, I believe. We were talking about specifically. Hold on. Spell that right? And we're talking about spiritual gifts, right? And so I would trade. And I know this is not something God would do because he has plans for all of us. So this isn't something that he would do, but I would trade every spiritual gift that I have to have a family. Not because I don't love God. I love God first and foremost over everything. But for all of y'all that know how it feels for people to love y'all, some of us don't know how that feels. We only get to watch other people be cared for and be loved. We don't actually get to experience it. I would give every spiritual gift that I have away. I'm not making a deal with Satan. Satan, get out of here. I'm talking about if this is something that God and God only would allow, I would, it wouldn't even be it. It's not even a decision. Like, I feel like, just so we could be clear, I feel like Miss Priscilla, Coach, I feel like they love me. I think they do. I can't say I feel it because I don't know how to feel those emotions well. I would need a conduit. And that's another reason why I love Kendra. You know, she was a really good conduit for me to be able to understand other people's emotions. But I'd give them all away in order to be able to have a family. Not even a question. But anyway, we was talking about spiritual gifts. Shout out to Coach. Shout out to Sister Bonnie. They teach the adult Sunday school. I leave after the adult Sunday school. I discussed why the other day on our platform. I'm not going to discuss it today because this isn't going to be one of those things where I keep bringing up something. So I'm not going to explain why I'm not. I stay for them. Anyway, with that being said, we at 10:41. I haven't been doing the show in a while. I just wanted to get on. We got to do better in our communities. I just want to get on and talk for a moment. But yeah, I would give every gift away I had. You know, to have a family like that. Some of y'all don't know how blessed y'all are to have people that love you, care about you. Y'all don't get it. Some of us is out here like we don't got nobody. It's just us. You know, it's just I tell people, it's just me and God, man. If I need something, God supply it. All I gotta do is go to places that He want me to go, and I don't even do everything God wants me to do, but I do a majority of the things God wants me to do. You know? We gotta do better. We gotta do better. There's a lot of things that I actually want to talk about and say, but I can't right now. I mean, I can, but I can't right now. But we gotta get the toxic people out of the community. Black people will run all of the good people out of their community. Every last good person, they'll run them out of the community. And then they'll look at the community and say, look, our community ain't shit. I'm going to say something. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and it was like, you know, wow, I had this conversation 2 days in a row. All right, so the other day, about what could have been not 2 days in a row, I think I was having a conversation the day before yesterday and then this morning. So I was talking to somebody, and they were basically saying that we need to, it was on, I think, Instagram. I was texting, you know, on a post, and it was like, we got to get out of, you know, when you got to get money, you got to get your money, you got to get out of the neighborhood. Yeah, that's the problem. But you also can't stay. So I'm going to tell you from the perspective of somebody that knows a lot of people that made it out of the hood. Almost every last one of them would have preferred to stay. Almost every last one of them. But you can't. Because your community is going to hate you. So you can't. You literally have to, if you make it, move. And the only reason why it's like that is because the hood loves the people who are not doing anything, bringing no value. But once you want to do something good in the hood, you got a million people trying to stop you. But let you want to deal some drugs. People going to stand by, watch you, be like, yo, that guy, he's the man. Let you be a murderer. People going to stand back. They might not say that you the man, but they're going to respect you. But let you be a nice, kind individual that walks around trying to spread love. They're going to treat you as terribly as possible until you stop trying to spread love. They're going to do all the worst things that they could think about to you until you stop trying to be a good person. And that's the hood. So if you're a good person, you don't have no choice but to leave. So I work at a place, and as much as I would love for a lot of these kids to become really great individuals and stay, that's not what I'm preparing them for. I'm preparing them for them to be able to leave and exist outside of the hood. I'm preparing them, the way I conduct myself with them, the way I speak with them, the way I talk to them, the things that I try to encourage, is so they can exist outside of the hood. So that when they get the opportunity to go somewhere that they have value, and wherever they go, those people want to keep them in a positive way. So that's what I'm trying to prepare the kids for, to be able to exist outside of the hood. Because in no way, shape, or form would I want, I think it's a shame, I'm going to rephrase this, I think it's a shame when you have these kids that come up and they want to do all the good that they could do, and they got good hearts. But it's this one kid that got a good heart, or these 2 or 3 kids, or these 5 kids that got a good heart. And every day they got to go against 200-300 kids that's rotten. And I don't mean to say it like that. And obviously, it's an exaggeration there with the number. But you get my point. We should be trying to prepare these kids to be able to be the shepherds of their own communities. Not preparing them to be able to survive in another one. Because their own community will never accept them unless they're toxic. Their own communities will never accept them unless they're just bad people. I'm gonna get off. I wanna go do something else. Everybody just go out there and I don't be meaning to be down and be not high energy, but I'm not gonna say but. That's not fair. It's not a instead of, but it's a. I spend so much of my day faking being happy so other people feel comfortable. That is by the time I get here with y'all, another reason why I don't really do no shows no more. It's exhausting. Pretending to be in a good mood is just exhausting. I'm gonna let y'all go. Everybody, please go out there in the world, do something worth doing. Stamp God's name on it. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the notification gang. Hashtag Bronx Bombers. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I haven't forgotten about you, and that's all I got on this one.